We owe it all to Andy Warhol and to Anita Bryant.
Hello, and welcome to the Tour Project. I'm Project Manager Eric Solomon. For this stop on the tour, navigate to 1170 Virginia Avenue Northeast, Atlanta, Georgia, 30306. This is the former apartment of Charlie St. John. Charlie St. John was a journalist, activist, politician, and local celebrity who has been described by Dave Hayward as the first gay anything in Atlanta. Beginning in the 1970s, St. John co-founded the Georgia Gay Liberation Front and served as the first LGBTQIA+ representative to Atlanta's Community Relations Commission. In July of 1972, St. John was instrumental in organizing the first gay pride rally in Atlanta. Charlie St. John was involved in a 1973 scandal in which, while working as a copy boy for the Atlanta Journal, he was fired for distributing Gay Liberation Front flyers. In the following weeks, the Atlanta gay community teamed up with the Atlanta Lesbian Feminist Alliance to picket the newspaper's offices, bearing signs and loud chants for LGBTQIA+ liberation. One of those signs read, "Charles St. John, gay worker fired by rotten bosses of Atlanta paper. Rehire St. John." Charlie St. John would go on to organize a film festival in Atlanta in 1982, the Lesbian Gay Trans Person Film Festival. He would also be targeted by the GBI again in 1983 for selling, quote, obscene material as an employee at Christopher Kine's bookstore. Charlie St. John used to live at the apartment at 1170 Virginia Avenue with his lesbian roommate, Rebecca. The two were evicted in 1973 following a drug raid, which yielded no results by the Atlanta police. St. John was declared the 1992 Pride Grand Marshal, the first to hold that title, in celebration of his contributions to the city. Still, as his good friend Maria Elena Dolan wrote, shortly after he served as Pride Grand Marshal, Charlie St. John died as an indigent patient at Grady Hospital after lying on a gurney in the emergency room for 14 hours. Dolan writes, "I know, because I had to go claim his body. That's how it was in those days. Not enough beds to go around. No drugs that would really keep you going. We don't always remember how things used to be." Dave Hayward, in this stop on the tour, remembers his friend, the late Charlie St. John. Here's Dave Hayward.
We've talked some about Charlie St. John, who I knew very well. I talk about him being the first openly gay anything in terms of being the first openly gay political appointee that Sam Massell appointed to the Atlanta Community Relations Commission in the fall of 1972. And his appointment had a lot to do with the fact that we did have a successful Pride March in 1972. It was the first march in the streets because the 1971 march, which was the first Atlanta Pride March, was refused a permit to march. So as my friend Burl Boykin would talk about, they had to march on the sidewalks and stop for every traffic light. And in 1972, Charlie St. John and some other people with the Georgia Gay Liberation Front succeeded in getting the city too busy to hate, to grant a permit for the march. So we had a march in the streets in 1972. And Charlie lived at 1170 Virginia Avenue, just down from North Highland and Virginia Highland. And unfortunately, he was targeted by certain powers that be. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation raided his apartment. I believe it was June of 1973, claiming that he had drugs in his apartment, illegal drugs. They did not find any evidence, and he and his lesbian roommate, Rebecca, were still evicted. So to just sort of talk about the fact that you could be a political activist and be a openly gay leader and still suffer consequences for that, which he unfortunately certainly did. So we always want to talk about 1170 Virginia Avenue that people forget was the site of the illegal drug raid.
Thank you for joining us on this stop of the Tour Project. For more information, visit tourqueeratlanta.org. That's TUOR queeratlanta.org.